Ever felt your mind is a construction site? Too many ideas, too little progress. One part of you wants to start something new. Another part is begging you to just finish the one thing that you started. You're ambitious, creative driven, but sometimes it feels like your brilliance is scattered across too many unfinished projects, unmade decisions, and unmet expectations. Welcome to the Brick by Brick broadcast. My name is Olatunde Akinwunmi, creator of the V.I.T.A.L Architecture System, a framework that helps high performers close the gap between the life that they are living and the life that truly fits them so that confusion turns into confident, purpose-driven momentum. And if you are watching for the first time, tap the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and if you find a moment that hits home, share it, because this broadcast is about transformation you can actually build. In this episode of the V.I.T.A.L Office Hours, we are going to unpack 3 of the most common struggles I see among high performers. Starting everything, but finishing nothing. Chasing too many goals at once, and saying yes until you disappear. Each of these comes down to one big question. How do you bring discipline, direction, and boundaries into a life that is already full? So let's start right there. The first question I have today says, I'm high in openness, so I start many things, but rarely finish. How do I balance creativity with consistency? It says, I'm high in openness, so I start many things, but rarely finish. How do I balance creativity with consistency? So, this is my favorite question because it hides a compliment within a complaint. When someone says, I start many things, but I rarely finish, what they're really saying is that my mind is alive, you see? High openness, which is the O in Ocean Personality Model, is the trait that fuels creativity. It fuels curiosity and also imagination. The world needs people like you. You are the ones who start movements, who invent new things, new systems, and dream in color, while others may be seen in grayscale. But as with all gifts, openness has a shadow side: distraction, inconsistency, unfinished brilliance. So today I want to help you transform that creative chaos into creative completion without losing your spark. Here's the first truth. Creativity without discipline evaporates. Think of a river. It's a powerful force, because it has banks. But when it overflows, it becomes a flood, destroying what it could have nourished. Your creativity is not different. Without boundaries, it turns into scattered energy. Many starts, but few finishes, and definitely no satisfaction. But with structure, creativity becomes a compounding force. So if you're high in openness, your goal isn't to reduce creativity, it's to channel it properly. And you do that through structure. Structure is not the enemy of creativity. It's a frame that gives your ideas shape. Now let's talk about discipline, because it's the hinge between ideas and outcomes. The problem for creative people isn't laziness. It's actually something called overstimulation. The mind of an open person is more like a web browser with 57 tabs open. All of them interesting, but none of them complete. So the discipline here isn't about willpower, it's about focus sequencing. You have to learn to complete short-term projects one by one, brick by brick. So start with something small and finish it. Maybe it's a blog post or 1-week challenge, a 10-day project, and then see it through. Then do another one and over like that. Each completion releases a neurochemical reward, dopamine. It's that satisfaction molecule. That feeling of finishing something actually becomes addictive, And what's happening neurologically is that is even more interesting because you're training your brain's completion circuits. Each time you finish something, you strengthen that neural pathway for follow through. You're literally just rewiring your brain to complete something. So here's something most people never realize. Everyone has a set point for focused work. That set point is just the length of time that they can sustain deep attention before fatigue and distraction sets in. If you're high in openness, that point might start small, maybe 25 minutes, maybe an hour. That's okay. You can start there. The goal isn't to have endless focus. It's to have it expand over time. That's why, the discipline of short-term projects works. It allows you to recalibrate and to gradually stretch your set points. You might go from completing a one-day task to a 3-day challenge, and then maybe a 1-month long creative sprint. The key, however, is to make finishing feel like a habit, not a heroic event. So let me paint a picture literally. Imagine a painter working without a canvas. They're just waving their brushes in the air, beautiful colors, but no form. The frame doesn't limit the art, it actually creates it. So the boundary that gives expression to meaning, right? The boundary just gives expression meaning. So when you decide to focus on one thing, you are not killing your creativity, you are giving it a home. I once knew a brilliant writer who had a folder full of half-written manuscripts. He would start one book or writing one time, get excited, and then he'll pivot to something else, another idea, and then another one. He told me, he said, I think that I've lost my discipline. But that wasn't true. He hadn't lost discipline. It was constraints that he lacked. So I helped him to create a 21-day focus sprint. One book, just one book. He was to focus on one book, one outline, and one goal, and finish it, until he finishes the draft, no matter what. And in just 18 days, he had finished it. And it was not just because the book suddenly became easier. It was because the discipline to do one thing, he created that discipline to just finish one thing, and he had formed the relationship with himself. And after that, he started finishing everything that he, at least most of the things that he wanted to do. Completion, had taken a new form of joy in him. Completion has its own joy. It has its own kind of joy. It builds momentum, confidence, and of course, inner stability. Psychologists call it the Zeigarnik effect. That's the mental tension we feel from unfinished tasks. Every unfinished or incomplete project creates a loop in our brain that quietly drains energy. Every time you finish something, that loop closes, so you reclaim that energy, clarity, and peace. So finishing isn't just practical, it's also psychological hygiene. So here's a framework that works especially well if you're high in openness. I would call it 3 C's. Choose one project and then define its boundaries. Next is to complete it. Set a very short, realistic timeline and see to it that you finish it. And then finally, celebrate. Anchor the joy of finishing. It trains your brain to begin to crave closure. Over time, that rhythm builds the discipline muscle that keeps creativity alive without chaos. From a faith lens, the Bible says that he who is faithful in little is also faithful in much. Faithfulness is actually focus over time. God's creative power in Genesis was orderly. One day, one layer, one focus at a time. He didn't create, the whole world in one day. Creation did not happen in one day. It happened through discipline sequencing. So your process is not different, So let me reframe this. You don't need less creativity. You need a system that honors it. So here's what I want you to do. This week, choose one short project. Give it your full attention until it's done. And then track how long you can stay focused before distraction hits. That's your set point. Next week, expand that set point by maybe 10%. You're not fighting distraction. What you're building is stamina. And every completion becomes a brick in your creative foundation. Discipline is not the enemy of creativity. It's the frame that makes art possible. So finish one thing, and then finish another one, and then another. And soon you realize that consistency doesn't cage your creativity. It actually compounds it. That's the brick by brick way. So once you learn to focus your creativity and finish what you start, the next challenge appears. When you finally have all that drive, how do you decide what's actually worth your energy? Let's talk about goals alignment and how to know which dream is truly yours.